Call this meeting to order. Welcome to this Pride Subcommittee meeting. Eileen, Daniela, Lindsay, and Yana, and me, Benny. Let's see. The things that I put on the agenda are whatever I could find from last time's notes that I thought probably we still had to talk about. So there might also be other things, but the letter to the item / I think we'll also send it to the town council. We can go over that and make any edits or make any decisions that we want to make. Talk about the flag raising event, artwork from Yana, the concert on the 19th, and anything else. Are there other things that I should make sure we have on our list here? Other things may come up as we go too.
I have another thing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Tell me.
Per conversation at the last meeting, you had asked about what the youth wanted to see in terms of activities for the Pride event, and me and Yana had discussed that, so maybe we could add that to the agenda as well, so people who might want to speak or present or do something like that.
For the flag raising? The
flag raising, yes.
Yeah, I also have on there for the flag raising, I have this is me singing potential speakers.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, we can talk about all kinds of things having to do with whatever we might want at that event. Yeah.
I also have a whole list of things to do, so they might all sort of fall into this as we're talking about it. So things like contact Jeremy for queer vendor contacts, or me and Daniela should be talking about panelists, and Lindsay's going to talk about art.
The panel, I forgot to put the panel on there. Let's talk about the panel if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so let's start with the letter. I got Elizabeth's quick sort of grammatical edits I added in there, and Lindsay, Daniela, you sent something I think maybe today or yesterday, but I haven't actually read it yet, so you can maybe just tell us what you want to have changed and we can talk it over right now.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to bring up the I sent email. So for the first paragraph, I caught another error where it said Americall versus American. But
no, it is. That's the name of that building, is the Americall Civic Center.
Really?
Yep. Don't know why. It's named after some old military brigade or something that was called the Americall something or other.
Every time we've spoken about it, it doesn't come out in the closed captioning. So I was like,
it's not a real word.
Okay, well, my mistake. Okay, so then so looking at the first paragraph, I suggested that we could have a supporting open paragraph purpose statement at the end where it says it reinforces something else that we say later on, but just to open it up, quote unquote, we believe raising the Pride and Juneteenth flags in celebration and acknowledgement of our diverse community is essential to highlighting Wakefield as an inclusive and welcoming community. So that was that note. And then
so to say we would put that, sorry, where were you saying that would go?
It at the end of the first paragraph where it says Wakefield has employed this policy to fly the Pride flag each June since 2019 and so forth. And then we move a few paragraphs down where it says the WHRC is currently working with the town council to amend this policy in order to address some feedback we've received from residents of the town. I think it would be helpful to clarify the policy further, as this is where a lot of concern is stemming from our residents. We should clarify that, and I have quote unquote, the policy requires town council to approve requests to fly flags, and they are also responsible to specify which poles can be used for approved flags. this should put most concerns of the can of worms at ease, and it's not highlighted nearly enough in any of the flag policy communications, whether it's on Facebook, the item, anywhere. Because yeah, I think that it like pretty much relates to a lot of the complaints. It's like, well, it's not like just anyone can fly a flag, and you know, there is more of a more to the process than we speak to. And then towards the end, not all the way at the bottom, but where we say there is another flag which must never be forgotten. That is the flag memorializing those who have been taken as prisoners of war or who are missing in action. I think, you know, and then we have, yeah, so in that paragraph, I think to confirm our intentions and stance and to combat misleading communications about us, it could be worth it to add that, quote, we do not aim to diminish the American flag or request to remove the POW/MIA flag, end quote. Because I think the second statement where it says the Human Rights Commission is in communication with our town's Veterans Advisory Board sounds like it sounds like it's alluding to us working with the VAB to actively remove the POW/MIA flag, which, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that isn't the case, right? Because I think Ed Dombrowski was saying he doesn't want to use that pole. He wouldn't want to take that flag down.
Well, the issue is that the MIA POW flag is flown on several poles in town, including, I think, one or both of the ones that we are asking to use. So one of the things, like, I think there's multiple possible outcomes. It could be that the VAB is okay with taking the POW MIA flag down for a week and putting it back up. It could be they're not okay with that and we have to find some other solution, another flagpole. It could be that we petition the town to install an additional flagpole so that we don't have, you know what I mean? There could be like multiple solutions, but it's possible that one of those solutions would involve taking down the POW MIA flag. I just don't know if that's actually like what's going to happen. Like, I'm not sure that's the best solution.
Right. But I think just doubling down, and that's not what we're asking to do. Like, just further clarifying, we are just asking to be able to fly a flag on more than one pole, specifically, for example, for June, because the talks are like, oh, they want to take this down. And it's like, well, no, we didn't even know that would have been, like, we didn't have that in our mind when we requested for the policy change. So just to sort of reiterate that in some sort of way, even though it might be a possibility, and it's not until next Tuesday that you speak to the VAB, but I'm assuming we're going to send this out before next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would like to send it as soon as we can. So.
Yeah. So, you know, we could be careful about how we word it, but I think we should definitely state like that wasn't our intention, and also that we do not aim to diminish the American flag.
Yeah.
Because that was specifically called out, and that's not true. I mean, I thought journalism was about reporting the truth, and
well, I mean, opinion pieces are not about reporting the truth. Opinion pieces, you can say what you want.
That's true.
Even when it's wrong. Can that wording just change simply to we do not aim to diminish the American flag or the POW MIA flag, and just take out the request to remove piece? I don't want it to come across like HRC didn't ask for it to be removed. Oh, and now the town council is asking for it to, like, I don't want the blame to be passed. I think it's just like, to Benny's point, there's like one flagpole that has the POW MIA, and then across the street there's another one that has the POW MIA. That's all. I mean, we just should take that out, but I love that idea of like, let's be very clear that our intent was not to diminish the importance of both flags. It was to say, like, is there an opportunity for us to use another flagpole to leave up the pride flag and potentially also the Juneteenth flag, you know, to celebrate both.
Yeah, that's a good edit. I think that covers what we're trying to say.
This is totally random, but have we ever asked to use the flag in front of the library?
No.
There's 2 flagpoles in front of the, so when Benny
Yeah.
and I met over the weekend, my wife and I then drove around town like goobers,
Looking at
like
flagpoles.
looking at flagpoles. I was like, I've never noticed all of the flagpoles in town. But there's 2 flagpoles in front of the library, and I think one of them has nothing on it.
Rock on. Yeah, so maybe that's a great solution because it's centrally located. That's what we're looking for, something that is visible and centrally located. And if the one at town hall is not a good option because it's going to feel disrespectful to the vets, then it's funny when they listed, I got this list from the Department of Public Works of all the flagpoles in town, and they didn't bother to list all the ones on the school properties because that's a school committee, like they're in charge of that, or school administration.
Yeah.
So they left all of those out, although technically they're like public town property, like flagpoles. They also did not mention the BB, and so I wonder if that flagpole falls under some other category, but I bet you anything we could ask the library to fly the flag and they would like maybe be fine with it, especially if they have one that is.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or anything about these edits that Daniela was bringing to us, or any other changes that you'd like to see?
If we're gonna send something like this to the town council, can we add that question in there? If it's gonna be in front of the, or can we send it in the email to Sherry? I don't know if she can let us know beforehand, before our meeting on Tuesday, maybe.
About the that flagpole?
Yeah, like if it was specifically left out because it's like the schools, or if it was just there's just too many flagpoles to keep track of.
Yeah, I can send an email, maybe. I'm thinking the best, I'll send an email to a couple people, like Sherry might not be the person, but Steve Mayo and I can't remember who it was from the town, from the DPW. Maybe I'll like send a joint email to them and just be like, question mark, what about this flagpole? Can this be
Yeah.
included in the flag policy options?
The vacant one.
The
Yeah.
Okay.
naked one.
Daniela, I
Yeah.
love your edits, and Eileen, I like your revision to those edits. I think that's a really good idea, and I think that confirming our stance without making it too divisive is a really good idea. And I love that there's another flagpole that we didn't know about, so that's awesome.
Right.
Thank you for making us aware of that. So good find, Eileen. Thank
Nice
you.
Well-
reconnaissance.
Yeah, love that. Thank you.
I don't know if there's like a reason for it or that day something came down, right? Because like now we're all gonna go look and see, like, watch there be like 3 flags up there.
Right, it's like the end of my street. I can see it from my house. I'll
Can
let
you?
you know.
Okay. All right, good.
Pretty much.
Lindsay,
Yeah,
you're on the case.
I'll be on watch.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so this last sentence about the POW MIA flag is going to say, we do not aim to diminish the American flag or the POW MIA flag, period, right? Like that's all we have to include.
Yeah.
Okay. The link that I sent you should still be active, so you should be able to see it. You can double check and make sure I have the changes correctly in there if you want to. And the last question for us is, how do we want to sign it? We could sign it just as the Wakefield Human Rights Commission Pride Subcommittee. We could
That's
have
my
that
vote.
and then enumerate our names. Which option do people prefer?
First one, just because of the complexities involved with Teresa's email and how we each might have unique licensure that we may want to include if we're going to do that, or some sort of title. And I think that might overcomplicate it. So I think just doing it as like a collective might be an easier option if everyone agrees with that.
Lindsay,
Well-
explain that one more time. I missed the beginning of that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
So Teresa had referenced like wanting to, Benny, correct me where I'm wrong because I do not have the email there, but like wanting to reference like affiliation specific, like in with her title, like, where she's a pastor. So I had said, if
Oh,
that's what we're
Elizabeth.
doing, it might, oh, I'm sorry, Elizabeth, I'm sorry about that. It might overcomplicate it where like, if we're going to be doing that, like, I have licensure as a mental health counselor. I'm sure other people have licensure as well. I figured it might be more it might be just easier I mean, we're all agreeing on this. Why not just sign it as the Pride Subcommittee where we're all in agreement on where we stand? It just kind of makes sense that not to single out people or potentially make ourselves individually targets of people who are writing these op-eds to begin with. So, you know, I think as a subcommittee, we're all in agreement, and I think solidarity is also important. So I think it would, I'm in favor of the first option. I apologize for misspeaking with the names, by the way.
Oh, that's
no,
okay.
that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I did see the importance of Elizabeth's title being on there because it shows like it's from a religious group leader. I don't have any other titles that I feel like I need to put at the end of my name. But to me, I don't think it really matters if we sign our name or not. We're a target like as a group. So
yeah,
if anyone really wants to, they can go on the site and they can go after the names listed there, or they will watch our meetings and then see our names here and then connect the dots. So I know it's like giving them more ammo with it just listed right there, but if they're gonna, you know, they're gonna collect their
I agree with that,
pitchforks.
but I think if we all are in agreement, then why not just send it as a group, you know? If we all are in agreement, of course, which if we're voting on it, I would assume that we are, I guess.
I'm not sure. We haven't heard from everybody.
True.
What are your thoughts, Eileen?
I like that it says the Pride Subcommittee. I feel like it adds sort of a level of, I don't know what the right word is, but like, I think if
Solidarity.
all of our names follow it, I feel like it gives it a little more validity, and maybe there's like a way where people are making that connection of how important it is. And however, I also, Lindsay, I've written a letter personally to the item 45 times in the past like 2
Wow.
weeks. I write it, I rewrite it, I write it, I rewrite it. Like I keep rewriting it with the thought of like, will me and my family become a personal target by individuals in the community, and whether or not that is a concern. I don't want anyone to ever feel uncomfortable about that. And so if there's even a slightest bit of like anxiety around it, I think we say the WHRC Pride Subcommittee. I want everyone to feel like they can live in this town and not be a direct target.
Thank you for saying that. I
So if
appreciate
there
your
is
feedback.
any anxiety there, that would be my vote.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think the what's the word? Yeah, what you said.
Cool.
And again, if we're all in agreement, there's no reason that we can't sign it as a subcommittee with, I mean, like Daniela said, if they want to see who we individually are and or our credentials, they can go on the website and see that too, I would guess, right? So the same information applies
Oh, yeah.
backwards as well.
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've put my last
To
name
speak to
here.
that, Danielle, and the importance of that, I agree with you where that is important. And I agree where if people want to see the individual members of the HRC or the subcommittee, I'm guessing they could access that the same way that you would reference they could access it the other way.
I think that's right.
The good question is like, does anyone have any hesitancies? You know, because then I think that's like the decision's done. Then like we should just do the Pride Subcommittee.
Yeah, I think that sounds like where we're at.
Yep.
Okay, then, so my plan is to send it to the item and CC it to the town council, just so that they have that. I'm gonna, can I put out a quick, what's the word, like PSA that I noticed? If any of you are sending emails to the town council to like state your position on this, I discovered, thanks to Daniela, so we were talking about the meeting packet that is made public for the town council meeting. And if you submit your comment to the public engagement email address, it gets put in the meeting packet. So anyone in the public can then read your email that you sent to the town council, which is in a way good. I think then there's like a public record of like all these people who have written in support of the thing. If you send it to the individual counselors' email addresses, it doesn't get included in the publicly available packet. So just like decide one way or the other which is better for you, I think. Knowing that. I didn't know that before. I have been telling people like, either way, send it to the counselor, send it to this like public comment email address, whatever you want. But it turns out there's actually like, it seems a bit of a distinction because I know people who I've been CC'd on emails that went to the town councilors. So I know they went, but they were not in the public meeting packet. So, pro tip.
As members of the HRC, we're able to do that, even though we're also obviously the ones who are requesting it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can write a letter as a individual, like without your HRC hat on.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like members of the VAB have been submitting comment
Okay.
as the, their own individual comments. So
I am looking at both versions right now. Is that what you wanted us to do? To like see if everything is in there?
yeah, I guess just to make sure that what I got from your edits is correct.
I'm not sure I see the policy requires the town council to approve requests to fly flags. And they are also, so because like some people are like, oh, just anyone will be able to fly flags. And it's like, well, there's a process and they don't seem to know that there's like approval and voting and.
Where did I put it? I put it in the middle of the paragraph instead of the end of the paragraph. It says,
I did see that. Yeah, for sure.
Might be looking too hard.
yeah, seriously, I put it in there. Where is it?
I found it. It's in the beginning of the first paragraph.
You're right. Yep.
Okay, I was looking further down.
Yes.
Flag policy. Got it.
Thank you. All right, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the edits are made. So
Great. All right, so I will send that off. Make myself a to-do.
Great.
Great. So then the flag raising event. There were a couple different pieces about this that we discussed last time. I don't know if we have any follow-up. There was having the middle school kids sing "This Is Me." There was having speakers. There was art, like flag post, what do you call them? Like
lawn sign.
yeah, lawn sign
Storyboard
things.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There could be other things.
Do you want me to jump in?
Yeah.
So Keenan, I talked to Keenan Riley. The group that sang "This Is Me" was like the whole 7th grade. And so he was like, probably not the whole 7th grade, but I could pull in individual kids to do some of this. And so he's totally on board. So it's school vacation week. And so I'll nag him on Monday, the 25th, to see if he's been thinking about it, but he seemed cool about it, which was great. And then there's the diversity club at the middle school too. I plan to reach out to them to see if there's anything that they'd like to do as far as like participating with us. So the woman's name is, her last name is Bowen. That's not right. I just made that up. I will, I know that's not right. Anyway, it's on my radar, so I'll take care of that. Um,
Can I jump in here too, or
Yeah.
after you're done? So me and Yana were talking about that. So Yana, I wonder if you have any thoughts, because we had discussed per request at the last meeting, you know, what the high schoolers or what students in general would want to contribute, or if any would be interested. So I don't know, Yana, if you were able to find anything out about that.
Yeah, I reached out to some people and they're like they want to do it, but they also have some questions. Like I said that they can really do like anything that they like would like to share to the public and all that, and what they feel comfortable with. And so they're deciding. I think I definitely have. I think I have one that's really close to saying yes. How many people are you guys looking for?
I would
Good
say,
question.
yeah, my first reaction is, I think the ideal like flow of an event would involve different types of things. So it's like if there's 3 people who all want to make a speech, I feel like that would be,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's
So
like,
like
it's
a
one person-
poem, like a song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Also, when do you guys have to know by? Like,
There's not a rush, I don't think. We're talking about June, so.
Yeah.
okay. All right. Sounds good. I'll let them know.
So maybe
Thank
like
you.
one person poem, one person maybe like speak to their experience briefly, maybe if they're comfortable,
Yeah.
maybe one person who, if they want to sing or something like that, or maybe something like that. Or then when everyone, does everyone think that might make sense? So maybe
Okay.
do like a 5-minute like type of thing, like, or a 3-minute,
Yeah.
or something brief where it's a flag raising rather, and it's not
Yeah.
like a keeping
Okay.
like the time in mind.
I'll talk to them and give them some ideas of what they can do and all that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
let you know.
Thank you, Yana.
Of course.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I'd say if we nail it down sometime in like mid-May or something, we'll be good.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we thinking then that that would be the centerpiece? Like, I don't think we need to get like another speaker or some kind of whatever. That's it. Like, we'll have the students, a couple of students doing what they want to do, the singing group. The flag will go up. We've got different flags and artwork around.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about the artwork, Yana, that you made, or how we might incorporate that?
Well, that artwork was originally for a class in the high school, conversations, and I forget the whole name. It's a long name. It's basically diversity club, but now it's a class. And they
It was
asked
around
me to,
Unity Day, right? I think you had said.
yeah, they asked me to create like flyers for them in the future. So one of them is being used for Unity Day in the school, but the other ones are not. Like I created a lot of them for just to have options. So those other ones are not being used. So I showed them to Lindsay, and she was very supportive of them. So yeah, if you guys want to do anything about them, you certainly can. I would love that. I'm not sure like what ideas that you have to do or like what you need them for, but
I thought specifically like this one, I mean, they're all extremely good, but like for Pride and Juneteenth or anything really for the lawn signs, I thought this was really, really great. And I think all of your ideas are really great. And I wonder what everyone thought. I love kind of the flag around the hands. And I think that's really cool and a cool way to kind of tie in the Juneteenth and Pride months together. And I don't know what people's thoughts are, but that would be really cool for the lawn signs. And I bet like people might even buy them with Yana's art on the back and the "Hate Has No Home Here," where it does sort of, align. I wonder if that could be something we could do in general, but also for the flag raising, just to have them there. I mean, Yana, great job in the art. It's beautiful. You did a wonderful job. So thank you for sharing that.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yana, they're great. Do you think that we could use like the Stronger Together, the very first one? Maybe it's like a joint flyer, right? Like the top is announcing the Pride Month flag raising, and then the underneath is the Juneteenth flag raising or whatever it is, so that we can maybe we use it on one, maybe we use it on two. I don't know, but I love it. Looks great. The first one's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're all good. Let me just be clear. They're all
Yes.
good. I
But
like the
specific
first
to
one.
the events that we're talking about for that
Yeah,
purpose,
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
they're all very good, but this would be a great one to use for these purposes. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
The one with all the hands holding with the square in the middle, that would be a good in either Instagram or Facebook post because it's a little bit longer, so it's going to take up more of a feed. So that's the trick with social media when you're scrolling, is you want something that's going to take more real estate. And then the square, it's just like you can easily put like the
Anything
details
else.
right in there. So it's pretty much easy made. And as for the signs, I forget, did we say that we're gonna do different signs like about different flags, but then also have hate has no home, and then signs that people can buy that are related to the month?
Well, let's see. We always have the hate has no home here signs that people can buy. And we did talk about having the different flags with like info so that people can like learn about the flags and the sort of like diversity of identities and communities. I don't know about making other signs that people can buy. I'm not sure what that would entail. What are you thinking?
Do you mean, oh, sorry, Daniela, could I ask if, so I think, are you asking like, we're gonna use the back of those signs for different flags to explain what they mean? Yes, I think we did discuss that in the last meeting and I agree, that's a great idea. So I'm thinking in addition to those, the informative flags, the one that explain different types of flags, because we had also talked about maybe like handouts explaining that too, to like give to people the cards explaining like what the different flags are and what they represent. I think in addition to that, we could have, because it seems like from what Benny had mentioned, we have quite a few signs. We could use a few of them just to, you know, have the art around for the event and also have the informative flag signs like you were indicating that we had discussed in the last meeting with, I think someone had mentioned some handouts or some sort of informational things for the public to have to be able to reference those flags. Is that what you were referring to? Like the flag education piece in the back of the signs, Daniela?
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that we're using our hate has no home signs backs. For the
Yeah, that's
flags.
because I guess we had Benny, is that correct? We had like an overabundance of them and we could use them in that way. That was the impression I was under, I guess.
Yeah, we
Is that
have tons
accurate?
of them. And I think there's two options for what we could do. We could either use them and like put the other signs on the back of them. Or we can use just the, you know, the
The stand part.
thingy. Yeah. And then like, I don't know.
Or we could do both. I
Parts
mean,
of
we
it.
can sell half of them and use the other half for like educational purposes or to display our art, or we can sell the ones that we use to display the art, you know, because either way, I think people would want to support that if they're buying designs, or they can choose if they want to put the ones with the art on them.
I guess I'm confused on how we would print it on the signs. Cause I thought we were like going to like Kinko's or something and getting like a poster that we would just tape on the back.
Yeah, I think taping
Yeah,
them is basically
yeah.
what we would do.
Okay.
Right. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
A little
Probably
bit
mostly cost-
DIY.
Probably cost effective.
Laminate.
too.
Yeah, we can
exactly.
laminate it. We
Laminate
can
it and
just like tape it
there.
on there. Use like there's many ways we could do that. But I mean, I'm sure people would want to buy signs with art on it as well. I mean, I'm sure people would want some without and some would want some with. I mean, we could probably
We can
sell them
also
either way,
save
honestly.
them. We can save them and use them every
Yeah.
year. You know, like,
Yep.
And
Right.
for the concert,
oh yeah, good point.
And for the festivals and things like that. I mean, we could use those signs for anything. The ones with the
Yeah.
art on it that's informative, especially the ones that with Yana's art rather. I'm sorry. The Stronger Together. Those could be good at any event that we have, honestly. I mean,
Mhm.
there's nothing really, it's very diverse. It's very inclusive. I don't know.
yeah, especially when we go to the farmer's market, just like a little
Yeah.
bit more oomph at our table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
more
to
stuff.
remind everyone of where we stand. I think that's important. So yeah, I agree with that. It's a great logo too. Like I love that. I love that. So good. Thank you.
We could also
So-
consider, we might have to, I mean, we will have to, we can ask in the meeting on Tuesday, like if we have the budget to make buttons. I feel like the one with the hands would be
Yeah.
perfect for a button.
Yes. We could do a lot with that. I feel like we could,
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if there's a way to incorporate that with like the logo itself or even like on the website, or like me and Yana have been talking about the social media piece, which we'll follow up on in the HRC meeting. But I think there's a lot of ways we can incorporate that. It's a really good and strong and very clear and just very, it's a really good message, and it's not overcomplicated. It's really good art. So I think it incorporates many elements and it speaks to what our mission is. So I really like it. So
Totally.
however we can use that, I feel like support. We can do stickers with that, I feel like too, and that might be pretty cost efficient and easy to do. Like I could find out about that if you want.
Stickers would be
Yeah.
cool.
Let me put it on the agenda.
Like is there a way that we could somehow like put like if anyone else, I mean, what are everyone's thoughts on somehow like putting HRC on this or like in making stickers that like incorporate our logo like on this as well? Like is there a way we could, or how does everyone feel about that?
Yeah, we definitely can put anything else on that. Like it's very easy.
Like even just like a little like thing like Wakefield HR, just to like show that like it's
Yeah.
tying to that, because that could be the link between all of the things we've been talking about, mental health, like pride, everything, Juneteenth, everything. Like I feel like this is a really good bridge.
Yeah,
Vinny, on the agenda, can you also add, I think we should get more flags because that was the hottest thing at the farmer's
Totally.
market.
People love
There
the
are
flags.
more flags like the pride flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is in storage some flags.
Do you know who
Oh, I
made
thought
it? We got an
Um,
anonymous donation.
To the best of my
Oh.
knowledge, maybe approximately either at 25, 50. There's a decent amount. I'm not sure exactly how many. I can double check, but I am not certain of the exact amount. There are
You
other
might
items as
wanna-
well, and I do not know the exact amount. I can double check for the next meeting if you want, or I can email you. Benny, if
Maybe
you want.
double check
I
for
think-
Tuesday, because then if we want to buy more, we can have a sense of how many we need.
Sure. But we do have
Um,
more, and we have some from last year too. I think. Do we
Those are
buy
all
every month?
gone, aren't they?
Yeah, they were all gone.
Yeah, there's like I said, I'm not sure exactly how many or of what, but there's an unknown amount of stickers. There's like tons of stickers, but they're non-specific. They're just like somehow related to Pride. I don't know how many flags, but there are flags. And Daniela, you're right. That was like everyone wanted flags. So if we can find a way to get more, they are
Yeah.
not expensive. And like I said, I'm not sure how many exactly, but like I don't know, probably like 30, 25, 30, 40, something like that.
Yeah.
And some other stuff too, some like bracelets and stuff and pins, stuff like that. So we do have like some stuff like for a table that will draw attention. And Yana brought up, actually, to add to like items, is that okay? Like for items on the table, Yana
Mhm.
brought up a really good idea. Candy and like pride colored things that are mostly non-allergenic, like things like Skittles or like what did you say? You mentioned something else too, sweethearts, things like that are like kind of rainbow colored. That's a really good idea, and like candy is a good draw. And so
Right.
Yana, maybe you could like give us more ideas. But I thought that was a great idea when you brought it up. So maybe we could do that too. People love candy.
Nerds are rainbow. And they have the nerds rope.
Yeah.
there's, like so many. And like those ones are always like with Halloween, we always go the teal bucket or the teal pumpkin, which is like allergy friendly, like trick-or-treating. So we always had like those types of candy because
Yeah.
not many people are allergic, unless you're allergic to like food dye, which we always had prizes too. We could do like prizes and rainbow like sugar candy, like that.
And we
doesn't
have the
confuse-
prizes with like all the swag stuff. So whatever, we can use
Yeah.
whatever you think. Yeah. So could we budget for that? Like a little bit of candy that's like rainbow colored? That's not.
I'm
That
sure.
wouldn't
I mean,
be-
candy costs like a hilariously small amount of money,
It's true. Yes. We could do that.
like alarming.
I know.
I was gonna say something else. Oh, the flags. If we have some number of pride flags and we want to supplement and buy some more, it could be nice to buy a variety of other, not a whole smorgasbord of flags, but we could have like some pride flags and some trans pride flags, the pink, blue, and white flags, so that people like, I don't know, we have a variety.
A great idea.
Yep.
Uh,
I agree.
What else do we have on this agenda? The concert. I don't have a lot of updates. Actually, hold on, let me open my other email because I got an email back about, we had this question of, can we have a little, okay, this wasn't very helpful. I should have followed up more. So I emailed to see if we are allowed to add more tents to our event so that we can have vendors and have this like little vendor area. And the response I got back, which I'm just reading now, if I had read it before, I would have responded and gotten more info, is how many tents and what types of vendors?
Love that. Yeah, probably because if you're selling food, they might have to have a certain license, because I'm going by like how to be in the farmer's market,
Yeah.
because I'd like to get a tent there at some point when I have the bandwidth, but
Is that
there's a dog, sorry. Yeah, well, should we
I
throw out
put-
like 5 to start?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's not going to be like a huge like festival by the lake style like thing. It'd probably just be, yeah, a handful. And I did put on the original permit application that we would have food potentially, which I think we do have to get a permit from the, or we have to do something with the public health department. So even if some of them are food vendors, if they're like licensed or whatever it is they have to be, I'm hoping I'll be working with the public health department to get approval for that.
Yeah, because I think I was thinking of like our local restaurants, Sakura, we've worked with them last year at the AAPI month, and then Maya is always down to throw themselves out, and they're so good.
Yeah, although, I mean, I think, aren't we talking about it being like focused on like queer and trans related vendors of some sort?
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking for the marketplace. I wasn't sure if we would
Yeah.
be able to find food vendors.
I think depending how far afield we want to go, like if we were willing to go outside of just Wakefield, but sort of like the area or whatever, I bet we can find people. Maybe not like food, but I'm sure there's people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll respond to Sherry and say, yeah, something like that, like a modest number, 5 tents. But we don't know yet what kind of vendors. We're hoping for maybe like crafts.
Yeah.
Work. I don't know, different stuff.
Mhm.
We'd
I guess
want
my
our
question
own,
is, what?
we'd want our own tent too, right?
Yeah,
Like-
a table for the HRC.
Yeah.
And I also don't know if the actual like musician will want to be under a tent. I'm not totally sure. That might be like more gloomy. I'm not sure. I'll ask her if she has a preference about that.
Wouldn't she be, wait, is this is on the lake, right?
Yeah,
So wouldn't she be in
the gazebo.
yeah,
We have the gazebo as part of the permit. I wasn't thinking that she would actually be there because I was looking at the gazebo and honestly, it's like, I feel like it puts a lot of like,
distance.
it's not as
yeah.
intimate. I want it to be like a fun family event where people are kind of like running around and having a good time. And when you're in the gazebo, it's very much like you're like 15 feet taller than everybody else. You're kind of far away. So I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah, I
But
could see that. Yeah. I think that's
um,
right. Should we invite Nagley to come if they'd like a tent?
yeah, I think that would be fun. Nagley also brings with them much swag. So there will be lots to go around.
Speaking of swag, can I sorry, oh, Danielle, I'm sorry, go ahead.
North America.
North Shore.
North Shore Alliance of LGBTQIA youth,
Yes. Okay.
but
For
it's
sure.
actually GLBTQIA. That's how you get the G.
Oh, Nagley. Mm-hmm.
Hey, so can I go back to the swag thing real quick and what you had asked earlier, because I can answer some questions if that's helpful.
Yeah.
It looks like we have maybe like 50 flags. However, somebody's gonna have to do some work because they're in pieces, so you gotta put the flags on the poles. But these are actually better than the ones we've had before, I think. I mean, I haven't seen them, but there's some bracelets, it looks like. That's cool. I don't know how many of these are. And like 30 pins, and I don't know what they look like. So we're gonna find out together. So some look like flags, I guess. and looks like some look like hearts, but Daniela, I apologize. It doesn't look like there are anything like any diversity in the flag type. So we might want to explore that budget wise in terms of like the flag itself. It looks like they're all the pride flag. It doesn't look like there's any different types of flags. So we may want to look into that. There's a bunch of stickers though. There's like a roll of these and a bunch of like the random stickers, kind of like the ones we had last year.
Yeah.
And like I had mentioned in the meeting prior, I did like a while back, we have pens that just say WHRC on them. They are not highlighters. This is like very, they look like they are, but it's a lie. But they are the ones that have like the touch thing on the back. Those are cool. And it has our logo on it. So that's cool. So we can use those for Pride, Juneteenth, or whatever. And then we have an actual like flag, like not Pride flag, like an HRC flag, like that we can hang like somewhere for events that has our logo on it that's printed. Yeah, so that's what's here for swag. For amounts, like I said, about 50 flags, it looks like maybe something around there. And I don't know how many bracelets, and I'm not gonna guess, I'm bad at math. And some of those bandanas from last year, I don't know how many, maybe like 5 or 4. I have not taken them out. No idea. And those pins. So we don't have any diversity to flags, so that would be helpful. But for like regular side flags, it looks like we have lots of stuff or a lot of enough, maybe. It says human rights pride on the box, so I guess that's what it's for. Yay.
Cool. Thank you for the inventory. Going back to the concert, I have let's see. I have a couple of things on my to-do list that I'll start working on. My hope is to have a sign language interpreter for the musician. It's part of what I wrote into the grant, and I talked to the musician about the budget. Like, we have this much money. I'm hoping that some of it will go to an interpreter and the rest will go to you. And she was like, cool with that breakdown. I took like 1/2 of a step towards this. I contacted a couple of people on the Disability Commission, one of whom is an ASL interpreter, or I don't know if she's an interpreter, but she speaks ASL, and asked about something having, I asked them, I was like, do you think that there's like demand for having ASL interpretation? It's not something that I see at town events ever, but I don't know if it's like, if you build it, they will come. Like, if we have ASL interpretation, then folks who would be relying on that will show up. And if you don't, then they don't. And so I asked, I was like, what do you think? What's your read on this? Like, is this something that would be good to do? And their response was sort of like, you know, like, yes-ish. They were like, yeah, there is a smallish community of ASL, people who use ASL. You don't see it a lot at events in town, but probably if you got an interpreter and advertised, like did some targeted advertising towards folks who might want that, could be good. So that's kind of my hope. It's something that has to be done in advance, so I want to work on it soonish, because the interpreter and the musician then would have to be in contact. Like, it's not done like regular interpretation where it's just like whatever someone says, you interpret it. The interpreter would get the tracks ahead of time and like learn the songs, basically.
So I have a weird, can I add something to this? Just like, this is
Yeah.
going to sound really, really strange, but like, bear with me, because sometimes I go around things to get to things. So a lot of people are really invested in teaching young children sign language, just like even before they can talk. So even if we don't have a large community of individuals like in the town who are, you know, recognizing that this would be helpful, like I think in general it's helpful, because a lot of parents are not teaching their kids like sign language, and their ability to connect that with other things might be really helpful too. So I think it's a really good option, and I agree with you. If you build it, they will come. It might not be present because no one has, I mean, if it hasn't been there, then people who can't attend haven't been attending. But if they know it's an option, they might attend. And if it's a family event, it might be really good to incorporate that, especially for families with young children who might be teaching them sign language. Like, I know my niece is being taught sign language. She can talk and hear, but just as an additional method of communication because she's young. So I think it's a really good way to include families and parents who might be doing that as well.
It's also good for us to, you know, set an example for diversity, inclusion, and equity. And so I lead a people with disabilities seen and unseen, ERG in my company, and we have been, no matter what, just with people who have, we have CART or ASL interpreters, the closed captioning, we just sort of set the standard and make accessibility the standard. And then other parts of the company or other public meetings, they're now taking a page out of our book. So it could be something that could catch on. And I do feel for like this, even though it's a small one, it's still part of our community, that they haven't been able to really fully enjoy any public events because they're like, okay, well, I don't feel like I belong. So I think that's our whole motto, right? To like make people feel like they belong, make home feel more like home.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know if when we establish this relationship, if we can see if this can be a repeated thing, so they can be around for future events. Just a thought. And then if so, would it make sense to sort of get like a, I don't know if we can contract people, but sort of get an agreement, like we'll have you at least attend these 3 events. And then that might just be, you know, might help with the price and budgeting.
Yeah, and I also wonder, I have like no idea if this is a possibility, but you know, the town is required to offer accommodations to people with disabilities for public events and stuff. Like if somebody wants to go to town meeting and they need an ASL interpreter, they would contact the town, request an accommodation, and the town basically, I think, would be on the hook to provide that, whether it's an ASL interpreter or a CART interpreter or whatever. And so the town, I'm assuming, has some portion of their budget that they draw upon to pay for those accommodations. And I'm just wondering if it would be possible, if this is something that we want to incorporate into events going forward. You know, if you have a couple hours long event, it's going to be like a couple hundred, several $100s to have interpreters, which we don't have like a ton of budget even for the basic things. And so I'm just wondering if it's something that we could collaborate with the town to pay for the interpretation as a disability accommodation.
Could we call on volunteers to provide that service? And or to speak to what you said, it is something that's required by law that, you know, we provide accommodations to any and all individuals. So I do think, I'm sure the town contracts with someone, but I do wonder if, you know, there are people who are from like accredited services who would be willing to volunteer for these events similar to what we do. I mean, there might be.
Yeah, it's possible. I wonder about, I have no idea in the like ASL community, but there are like other language interpreters. I can't remember what it's called. It's called the Boston Interpreters Collective, I think. And they do interpretation services at low cost or free for like community organizations or, you know, smaller groups. Like if you're part of a like community organizing coalition and you don't have a budget because you're just like a bunch of folks from the town who are like trying to do anti-gentrification organizing or something, that's kind of what they're for. It's like for that kind of stuff, people who don't have a budget who are doing community work. So we don't quite fall in that category, but you know, ish. So I don't know if the Boston Interpreters Collective has ASL interpreters involved in the project, or if they know of other folks who are sort of doing similar types of work, but it's an avenue potentially to explore.
Right
This
on
is
their
totally-
website, sorry, right on their website, actually, it says to like what their contact information is and everything. So
Yeah, and there's like a form you can fill out.
Yeah.
That's like the sort of stipulations, like this is the event, this is the language I need, this is different, like this is the size of my organization and the budget. There's side note, this is like completely unrelated, but I just want to say it out loud, is I think it would be so interesting to do an event like maybe during Latin American Heritage Month, where the event is held in Spanish and there are interpreters there to provide English interpretation. I think that would be rad.
that would be awesome.
Anyway, another thought for another day. What else? The concert, yeah, so I'm gonna continue following up about the tent situation. My hope is, since her answer wasn't no, since her answer was how many tents, I'm gonna say like maybe there's an option that we will be able to have some vendors and some tents. So I don't think it would be inappropriate to start reaching out. So I can't, did somebody already say they were gonna talk to?
I think I found a website. I can look at my search history, where it listed either Boston-based or Massachusetts-based businesses. So I can start reaching out. Do you want me to CC you so that way you're just kind of like on the loop and know what's happening?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. And Eileen, are you reaching out to Nagley? Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll focus on the businesses then. And then I also owe ideas for a panel, but I think it could also be useful to get volunteers for the panel from the community, because they might have ideas or they could be from diverse backgrounds. So we may not have just like this one theme. And I don't know if we can also try to get, I don't know, do we have a senior center? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if we can get like an older person, you know, somewhere in like the middle ages, and then like a younger person. So that way we can have like a variety. I think that would be really interesting of ages, because it seems like for the flag raising, for example, we have a lot of the younger generation. So this can kind of help show a little bit of connection and variety there too, because everyone's experiences have changed over the years for sure.
Totally. And I think people, yeah, different races, different gender identities, whatever we can. How big of a panel do you think we're aiming for here?
Three people and a moderator. So I think we put out a fishing line for panelists, and if anyone wants to moderate, we get 4 or whatever, for example, and someone wants to moderate, great. If not, then I'm a frequent panelist and I've moderated a couple of times last year, so it's not something that is new to me. I could easily volunteer, but obviously I'd want to make sure that our community has a chance to as well.
Yeah, and I bet you we could, well, I would hope that we could find interested people. I can think of one person who lives in town who falls into the senior category who I could reach out to, see if she'd be interested.
Cool, that'd be great. Yana, do you have anyone? Is there like a pride committee? I mean, in school?
Yeah, there's a there's conversations. It's such a long name. Conversation, inclusion, equity class. I don't know. I really want to be it, but it clashed with API, so I couldn't. But I'm on the classroom, and I don't know why I keep voice cracking. Sorry, guys. And my friend is on it, so I can definitely be in touch with them if that would be helpful.
Yeah.
I feel like if you guys know Jason Pavey, he's in charge of it. I don't know if you know him.
What is his name? Say it again.
Jason Pavey. I think
Oh,
he's
sure.
no, actually he is the basketball coach for the girls. So he's in charge of it. Definitely can reach out to them. I feel like they're always looking for things to be a part of, especially since they're like new this year. Or yeah, I think they were new this year. So
You could reach out to them, see if we can get a panelist. And I think, and then now and if we get both of them, sweet. We're like 2/3 of the way there.
Cool. I wonder if would it be weird to put out like a Facebook post that's like interested in like being a part of an HRC event during Pride?
Can we also
a queer identified person?
Yeah, can we use the all are welcome graphic that Yana has? So just now we get all the graphics. Because usually like if you just post text, it won't get as much interaction as if you have an image. So
Well, to speak, Danielle, to what you said earlier about this one, I wonder if we could use this one and insert the text here, like for anything, like for invitations for things, for like alerts, for announcements, like anything. This is a good one to use for a lot of things. So I feel like, Danielle, you caught on to a good point with like the length for like social media. I think that would be a good use for that too. I mean, we could even put those words in that, right? Or incorporate it somehow in there, or incorporate the two, put that one in there.
Can I ask a question actually? So if we're gonna do this panel, it's gonna be all virtual, right? That's what we talked about last time. We want to do it through the what is wrong with me? See, Yana, I'm in the same place. I don't know why I can't speak tonight. We'll do it through WCAT, right? Do we want to pre-tape it? Do we want to do it live like we did with International Women's Day?
I think the benefit of doing it live is having a Q&A
Yep.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
If the panelists are comfortable with that. I think
Okay.
that'll be the caveat is if it's a recording and that's the only way that they feel comfortable, I think that's perfectly fine. But if everyone is open to having a Q&A potential, then I think, that would be awesome. And that doesn't necessarily mean that people will ask questions.
Yeah.
So
When you
So
say
we
a
can-
Q&A portion, do you mean like having an audience there or something?
yeah, so having the audience be able to either, I don't know if we can use chat, but we could have them like put on their camera or unmute themselves.
So we found with IWD, only the panelists and the moderator could be seen. And then everyone that was, sort of the audience or whatever, you couldn't see anyone, which I think is sort of the right thing if we're going to tape it and stream it live.
Yeah.
And then I moderated the chat in the background just to see like what was coming through to make sure like there wasn't anything inappropriate that was asked, sort of. And we can do all of that through WCAT, and they were fantastic. I have to talk to Sherry about how it went through the library. There was like, are we doing it? Is the library doing it? I think the library was involved. They helped create the link for us and everything. So we could certainly partner with them again if that was something that they would be interested in doing.
Yeah.
And if we end up using their flagpole, wouldn't that be great as kind of a nice connection between the panel and the flagpole? So, okay, so Daniela, I can reach out to the library and see if they're interested. Yeah, okay.
Awesome. And I'm glad that the chat works because, yeah, if someone's moderating the chat, they can feed the questions to the moderator and the moderator can say it. So that way it's easy. Okay,
And
cool.
we can even come up with like a list of our own questions that we want to like, make sure they get. And there was something else I was going to ask about the panelists. I don't remember. But Yana, you said Jason Peavy, right?
Pavey, P-A-V, E-Y.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember the other woman's name. Her name is Bonnie Warren, and she does the diversity group at the Galvin. So I can email both of them if that's helpful to see if we can get for a younger generation.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then one more thing, Daniela, at some point, maybe in a couple weeks, we can have like, if you want to do it just me and you, or we could do it as a group, but we should think about like identifying who the moderator is, what the questions are actually going to be, the focus of the panel itself, like is it, LGBTQ generations? Is it like, what is it that we're trying to grab that,
Yeah, I think LGBTQIA plus generations, but if we also have an ally in the mix, it's not the worst because they are part of the community in a very special way. But when we're reaching out to people, like when Yana, you're reaching out, or I guess you're gonna reach out, Eileen, guess preface, like we're looking for members of the community. It's also to amplify these voices. I'll talk more about it in the next meeting, but I want to change the language of diversity from these infographics to more like live panels, because the whole point of the infographics is to amplify voices. Well, what better way to do that than to literally do that by having them literally speak. So I think, yeah, so, but, first is members of the community, allies second, because we only have 3 spots and we might get more interest. And that's good if we can have like a 4th, or if, we can sort of see what to work with. I think the biggest panel I've been on was 5 panelists and 1 moderator, and that's doable depending on the content. And yeah, so I would just, I could set up a meeting with just us 2 when you hear back, and Betty, when you hear back from your contact, and then I can give you something to comment on, so we can like have like, I'll write something up that'll help our notes and also the conversation along and get us going.
My guess is I doubt we're going to need to like, I doubt we're going to not be able to find enough queer people to be on a panel.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate that being a problem. Okay, cool. Let's see. What else? I think.
Penny, can you remind me the name of the singer for the event?
Oh, yes. Hold on. Her name is Cece. And I can't remember her last name. Cecilia. Okay, I don't know how to say her last name. Eberle. Her first name is Cici. Last name Eberle.
Eberly?
Yeah, that sounds like a name.
All right.
I don't know. Eberle. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know what the other thing about the Pride concert was that I wanted to talk about is we probably should make a plan for a rain space. And I don't know, I was thinking maybe the UU church or something like that, a place that's big enough and close by, like people will be able to easily find their way there if they show up for the concert and they're like, where's the concert? We can like put signs out and it's clear. Yeah. So that was a thought I had. I want to talk to Elizabeth and see like what might the process be for that. Would they want a fee to reserve the space? I don't know how it works over there. Are there other ideas about what could be a potential for a rain space?
I like the process of choosing something nearby, because if it's not raining all day and then the skies open up right beforehand, it's good to quickly pivot. But so it's a good start. Is the library too small? There's like rooms downstairs, but aren't they also used for like classes and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's too small though.
Okay.
It would be pretty confined. I mean, I don't really have a great sense of the Congregational Church. Like they're like literally right next to the common. I don't know if they're like,
What about like the VFW or like the Civic Center near the lake, which is not next to it, but it's down the street? I mean,
I literally didn't know there was a VFW.
or isn't there something there that people like? I think it's like a voting spot or something. It's like across from the softball field or like that. I could be wrong. It's down the street. It's not near the
There's a
gazebo,
Knights
but
of
it's, like,
Columbus.
yeah, maybe it's that. Something is there that's like some sort of something like that.
Like a function hall.
Would
or
that be an
something.
option? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, closer to the common, I feel like would be better.
I agree. I just don't know what else. Or what about how many people are going to be there? Do you think?
Who knows?
There's 5 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Could we just put
I don't
up
know.
tents like around the gazebo and have the concert in the gazebo and just have like big tarps, like the big like event tent type of things? Like, can we just like rent those or something if we need to? Or maybe people have them that and we're just not aware of it. I mean, they use them for like graduations and stuff. That might be like a better option if we just keep it outside and just cover it if we need to.
Does town hall have an actual hall?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Inside
They
of
have
it?
like a conference room.
Okay. That's not good.
Well, I can reach out to Elizabeth. And if it's a go, like that's easy. If it's like, no, it's already booked, or there's some reason why we can't, they're doing construction, who knows? Like
What about
maybe,
the other church, that big one next to the lake? I don't know, like, I'm sure they
Yeah.
have like a space. That's a giant church. I don't know who runs that or who
That's
you
what I
reach out
just
to,
said.
but like, yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
a
what I was
really
just
big
saying.
space.
The Congregational Church, I said that a second ago.
Oh yeah.
The thing I don't know is like, are they an opening welcoming congregation? Like, I don't actually know anything about them, but we could
question.
ask, I don't know.
Let's find
Let
out.
us know what Elizabeth says.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remembered that last point before we adjourned and you're like, "Yeah, now I remember it."
Yeah. Okay, anything else before we leave? Cool. Thanks, everybody. Oh, when should we meet next? That's what we should say.
We want 1 or 2 weeks time.
Probably fine. I don't think we have any real like time crunch right now. What do you think? 2 weeks? 1?
The week of the 25th.
Yeah.
I could only do the same time Friday that week because I'm going to be actually out of state that entire week until that day. I might not even be able to do that day, so maybe plan around me being able to do that week anyway.
Let's see, the 25th. We could push it to the other side of that weekend and do like Monday the 2nd or something.
I could do that at 5 or 6, at 6 rather. I could do that. Or
That would be
Friday. I could
great.
do either of those. Yeah.
That works for me.
Daniela, how about you?
May the 2nd. Yep.
Cool.
What time? 6?
Perfect.
Is it at 6 or?
Yeah, I mean, we can do 6 if that works for everybody.
Great.
Fabulous. Love it. Thanks, everybody.
Perfect.
Thanks for joining us, Yana. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, thank you.
But I'm glad I got
Thanks
to make it.
everyone.